Hi everyone, I'm Joanne Fink for Sakura, and since patterns are so popular these days, you see them on everything from China to fashion to greeting cards, I thought it would be a good idea to look at how we can do beautiful patterns like this. It looks really complicated, but I'm going to show you 5 simple and easy patterns that you can do quickly and that will add interest and texture to all your designs. So let's get started. Microns, which are my favorite tool to work with, come in 6 different sizes, and I made a chart so you guys can see the sizes that are available. I usually use the 01 for most of my patterning work, but some projects require a heavier line, in which case the 05 or the 08 is a great choice. And you'll be able to download this and the other handouts at Sakura's website, which is www.sakuraofamerica.com. For patterning, let me show you the patterns that I'm going to teach you. We're going to learn the first 5 patterns, and they look very complicated, which means they look really impressive, but they're very easy to do. Why don't you guys do this with me? Take your number 01 micron. The first part of drawing patterns is to draw lines. And the nice part of patterning is that nothing has to be perfect. Let's start with the first pattern. I call this 4 lines and a circle because we're going to make 4 straight lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a circle. Do it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a circle. And it doesn't matter if the lines are straight or if they're even. You're looking for rhythm. I find patterning very relaxing. So now that I've gotten to the edge, here's my pattern, and now I'm going to go back, and inside the circle, I'm going to put another circle. You could, if you don't want to put a circle, you could put a heart, you could put a diamond, but I generally put circles. And remember when I said count 4 lines? The reason for that is in between. I like to go back and add straight lines. And there is our first pattern. The next pattern is even easier. All it is loops. Start at the bottom, go to the top. Those of you who, like me, are old enough to remember the Palmer method of handwriting, that's what you're doing. You're palmering your way across the line. And this is what I use as a filler whenever I need to do a pattern in a hurry, because this is the fastest pattern I can do. The loop pattern looks great whether you do it big or small. Now I'll show you probably my favorite pattern, which is a triangle pattern. We're going to start by making triangles. And if your pen skips the way mine did right there, you can just go back on top. That's the nice thing about patterning. As I said, it does not have to be perfect. Something that I'd like to show you is that you can combine different weights of microns. So I've switched to a number 5 micron. I'm just going across, and I've added a little triangle underneath each of the other triangles. In terms of embellishing, because this pattern is fine just the way it is. But since I always like to add pattern into my pattern, we're going to go across just the way we did in the first pattern, the 4 lines in a circle, and we're going to put horizontal lines to fill in. The next pattern that we're going to look at are scallops. And scallops work best in a pretty wide line. Basically, you're just coming up in an arch shape. They can be wider arches or narrower arches, as long as they're nice rhythmic arches. So now I've filled that first line, and now I'm coming back underneath. And just like I had made smaller triangles, I'm making smaller arches. So now that you have your arches, your double arches. I come back if you want more detail in your pattern, and I add the little top piece. And later, if you want to add color to your patterns, it's helpful to have this extra little detail at the top. And I always think things look great. They look more complicated and more interesting if you add more lines. And so we'll come back underneath our arch. And since we did horizontal lines in the triangle pattern and we want something to contrast, we're going to do vertical lines here. And sometimes if I feel that I want more contrast, by just going back and double stroking, and see how I came out of the line there just a little bit? Double stroking is a great way to hide mistakes. So, let me show you the last of the 5 patterns we're going to do today. And this is the hardest to do. I always have a little trouble starting off. We're going to start with the curve stroke, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rounded strokes, as if you're doing concentric circles. I call this the fan pattern. It has a slightly oriental flavor. And this is another one that works better in a small or medium space. It doesn't look so good once you get into a really large space. Anyway, as we are nearing the end of the line, I then have to go back and look at the weight and decide, am I going to add any accents? Oftentimes, although I think it looks great this way, I will just double stroke where the fan part meets. And again, this gives me an opportunity to cover up any little glitches that I may have made in going across. So these are the 5 patterns that I wanted to share with you. And now that you know how to do them, I hope you'll practice them. This is something that I do every morning. As I mentioned, I get up and I pattern. And believe it or not, this whole page only took an hour and 20 minutes. Take a look at this last example that I want to share with you. And you can see all the different patterns that we learned and how to incorporate them into something that looks vaguely like hills. If you enjoyed seeing how to do simple patterns, I hope you'll join me for the next video where we will show how to put the patterns onto simple shapes. In the meantime, thanks for watching and happy patterning.